Hi guys, today we're going to be changing the transmission fluid, gasket, and filter on this 2017 Dodge Grand Caravan. I do know that for sure you're going to need an 8mm or a 5/16 socket. They both work on this transmission pan for all these bolts right here. For sure, it's recommended to use the ATF+4 transmission fluid. I got 4 quarts of it right now. And the box right here says to use that type of fluid and 5.5 quarts for the refill. So I might have to go buy some more right now. That's the part number for the filter. That's the part number for the gasket itself. That's how I look. This is the instructions that come with the gasket. They seem to be pretty generic. They don't seem to be specific for this application. So look at them if you don't really know what to do, but I mean, just watch the video and you'll figure it out. Make sure yours comes with the actual little seal for this gasket. It usually comes right here. Like that's how it looks when you first get out the box, and it goes right here when you actually put it in the filter. Let me get down here to the bottom of the vehicle and take off these bolts, and let me start draining this pan, and I'll catch up back with you. All right, so I use an 8mm socket on my 3/8 inch ratchet with a little extension. And I got most of the bolts out. And as you can see, my transmission is starting to leak out already, so that's good. This is the transmission pan. It's on the driver's side. Do not mess with this pan. This pan is this pan right here on the passenger side. That's your engine pan. Mine's relatively new because the engine was replaced. On the driver's side is the transmission pan, and that's what we're dealing with today. Let me see if I can get you a little look there. As you can see, the fluid should be red if you're replacing it on time, and if you're not replacing it on time, it'll be really, really black, and that's what you don't want. I recommend changing it every bit, like 40 to 50,000 miles. This van is overdue, but I do know that the transmission was never really abused or anything like that, so the fluid looks pretty good. I have these mats down. They're called diapers, or that's what they call them in the oil field. And they're soaking up whatever oil that I dropped, and they're helping a lot. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna let this finish draining. And once I get that pan off, I'll show you how it looks inside the transmission. And we will look at the filter. And these are how the bolts look. They're pretty small, little 8mm bolts. All right, I'll catch right back up with you once this is already all done draining. I got the pan completely removed, and now you can see the actual transmission filter. As you can see, the transmission is still draining more and more fluid, and it's going into my pan here. This is how the actual transmission pan looks on the inside. Right now, I'm gonna clean this magnet. As you can see, that magnet has a little bit of material on there. To me, it's an acceptable amount. It's no big shards of metal that I can see right now. I'll check on it right more in the sunlight. But you're gonna make sure that you have like a fine, like paste there. It's gonna be like more of a paste compared to like actual shards of metal. So a gray silvery paste is fine, like that. You don't want too much either, but that's an acceptable amount. As you can see here, this is pretty clean on the inside of this transmission. Right now I'm about to see what bolts these are. These are Torx bits. Torx bolts right here or something. And I'm about to see there's 2 of them that I gotta take off. I'll remove those and then drop the filter, and we'll look at the filter as well. While you're down here, you're gonna wanna make sure that you clean your mating surface all the way around it. And if you're wondering where the dipstick is on this vehicle, this 2017 doesn't have a dipstick, but there is a fill tube. Can you see it in this? Yeah, you can kind of see it. Put my finger on it. Right here is a fill tube, and it goes to a plastic cap that says dealer use only. And that's pretty much where you're gonna get like a flexible funnel, or like a long funnel through the top. You're gonna take off the little plastic cap that says for dealer use only. And we're gonna refill the transmission through there. When I get to that step, I'll show it in greater detail. Alright, so I cleaned up the pan. It looks really good now. It looks pretty much new. I'm gonna continue going around the edges right now. I clean up. It seems to have RTV. I don't know if the previous shop did that or what, or if it comes from the factory with black RTV. But as you can see, it's flaking off right there. But it had a whole bunch of it. And I'm gonna continue taking it off all the way around. I cleaned the inside of the pan. I cleaned the magnet. The magnet looks perfect now. And the bottom of the pan looks relatively good. As you can tell, I'm gonna clean up all the holes where all the bolts go through so they won't have any like problems going back in when I throw them back in. You can test fit the gasket right now so I can show you all that this is the correct part number and everything like that. You see how all the bolt holes line up and everything. So that is the correct part number right there for the gasket. It's perfect. Let me finish cleaning this up and then I'll show you all the filter. Alright, so I got the pan pretty much cleaned up already, looking good, and I even cleaned up the bolts. The bolts had RTV on them and now they look pretty much perfect. So I'm about to take the filter out. Alright, I just pulled the filter down. That's how the bottom of the filter looks. That's the hole that the filter tube goes into. You gotta make sure you pull that seal out right there. This little seal, you gotta pull it out. If you see my other video with the Colorado, you know they can be a fight sometimes, so hopefully it's not a fight this time. To take it out, it was just 2 bolts. It was these 2 bolts and they're T25. Pretty easy, they're not too tight. Make sure when you put it back together that you don't get this thing too tight. Let me clean it up. Let me try to take out that filtered tube gasket thing, the seal, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so I was able to get it out pretty quick this time because I totally skipped using a pick. Just go get yourself a trusted name or a good brand of plier. Alright, so this time I was able to get it out pretty quick. I totally recommend just skipping the pick. Like, don't use a pick to get it out. As you can see, this is how it looks without a seal now. I'm about to put the new one in. Just get a good brand of pliers. I mean, even these are the ones from Harbor Freight. The Doyle ones. They're like the Knipex knockoffs. And they grip pretty good. So these are the smaller size. I think they're like 8-inch or something like that. And they got it out. Don't be afraid to mess it up a little bit along the edge. As you can see, it's pretty dented in and everything. Get a good grip on there and pull it out. Just try your best to not mar this surface right here. You know, any of this stuff right here. Alright, I was able to get the new seal in there. I use a 22mm 1/2-inch deep socket to pound that thing in there evenly. And even with that, it was still a little difficult. I do know I lost a little bit of rubber on there, but I generally don't think it's gonna hurt it. I put my finger in there, like, and I felt around there. Looks like the sealing surface is gonna be just fine. So, as you can tell, this thing has a drain quite a bit. That's my dog, Dolly Parton. So yeah, hopefully this thing works pretty good, even with that little bit of a slight bit of material got like kind of cut off a little bit. I'm not gonna say that there's anything major. So, but trust me, like, taking it out and putting it in, I mean, that has to be like the hardest part of this whole thing. This is probably one of the easiest ones I've done, and hopefully this keeps continuing to be easy. Let's keep our fingers crossed. All right, so I got the new gasket in there. Let me back up so you can see a little better. Is that bolt and that bolt 1/4 inch. So don't be like giving them too much. It's a T25 Torx bits, or it could even be like one of them like E-Torx, whatever it is. But I mean, they're not tight, so like a regular Torx bit could do it. I recommend going real easy on those. You can kind of get a feel for it, you know. Little quarter-inch ratchet. Take it easy, get them on there. Sadly, this filter is one of those filters that just doesn't give you like a satisfying snap. But I really recommend you make sure that you get it, as you can see, way up there in the seal. That's all the way up to that little ridge. Let me see if I can show you on the old one. On the old one, there's this little ridge. There you go. You can see it right there. Let me see if I can point at it. This little ridge right here. Seat that. And once that's seated, I mean, of course, you're good. So it's not gonna really give you, you're gonna give it a little twist and an upward motion. Give it a little twist and a little upward motion and you'll get it in there. It's not very satisfying though. I like it when they're satisfying. They click in like the Chevys do. That's pretty cool. But it's seated there, it's bolted there, and it's bolted there. And then you put this new gasket and the old pan back on there, and then I'll show it to you when it's already all done. All right, so I got this pan on here now. I just torqued it in a cross pattern. You know, I did like this corner, and then I did this corner, and then like this bolt, and the next bolt, you know, just crossing it. And then I went around it a couple times. I think about like 5 times, because I'm going real easy on it. You know, I pretty much have my hand over the ratchet head. It's pretty much like this. Like, that's pretty much all the torque I'm giving it. Just like a little twist like that. All the way around a couple times. I mean, it's going into aluminum, I think. So I don't really think it's worth over torquing it, you know, like breaking off a bolt in there and everything. It's gonna give you a headache. So I just chase it around a couple times till the bolts, you know, they're not really moving much no more. Just with that little torque in there, and I chase it around a couple times and it should be good. If it leaks, I mean, just tighten it up a little more, but it's better safe than sorry, you know. So I'm gonna fill it up right now and see how much it takes. Actually, I'm gonna dump about all 4 quarts in there for sure, because I'm looking at my drain pan here. I'm definitely gonna have to go buy more. So then I'm gonna dump all 4 quarts in that jug that I got, and I'm gonna dump this in here. I'm gonna dump this back into my container, like into that new jug that I bought. See how much more I need. I can kind of eyeball it from there. All right, so now we're on the top. We're gonna fill it up. Make sure you get this transmission fluid, because it is like it's Dodge, so it needs that fluid right there. I chose this brand. It was what they had available at AutoZone. And you're gonna look for that little cap right there in the middle of the screen. It's kind of blurry, but it's behind that wiring right there, that bundle of wiring. And on the other side of this coolant reservoir hose down there, you're gonna twist that cap counterclockwise, like you're unscrewing it. I got the cap off. That's what it looks like. It says for dealer use only. And now it kind of pretty much looks like a dipstick hole tube, sorry, down there. It's open now. Let me see if I can get like a flexible funnel or something in there, and I'll show it to you. All right, so I got this flexible funnel in there, as you can see there. And then it's a little blurry, but oh, it's really blurry. Well, the camera's not picking it up, but down there you can see that it goes in. Let's see if I can pick it up from this side. Yeah, it goes in like that. All right, so I did put 5.5 quarts in there, and I verified that is exactly how much it needs. So that little sticker on the side of the filter was right. I'm trying to show you in here that I have that cap redone. Is it gonna focus? Yeah, there we go. You can see the cap is placed back on that fill tube, and it was 5.5 quarts. I have it over here. The other half a quart's over there on the shelf. But this transmission fluid seems to be doing great. I like it a lot, so I recommend it. I'm gonna go take it back to AutoZone and get it recycled. So yeah, so far so good. Everything worked good on this. Let me show you the bottom. One last look at the bottom. I'm gonna clean it off right now, but that's it. She is sealed up. It's looking good. I'm gonna spray it down with some brake clean right now. And that's it for this job. So I recommend it. It was pretty easy. If this is your first time trying it, like anything like this, I recommend it. Way easier than my Colorado, and we'll see on which other trucks I try it on next. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and That's it.